It was inevitable, members of one political party blaming members of the other for the spread of Ebola. Here's an ad playing in some parts of the country implying Republican-led budget cuts are responsible for the outbreak.
Washington actually can cut spending.
The CDC says its discretionary funding has been cut by $585 million since 2010.
Cut.
The NIH saw its budget slashed by $446 million.
Cut.
Well, let's talk about that. Senior political analyst Bret Hume is here with the politics of an outbreak. Good evening, Bret.
Hey, Bret. Dr. Margaret Chan, Director General of the World Health Organization, said today that the Ebola outbreak is, quote, the most severe acute health emergency seen in modern times. That may seem a little strong since the disease has so far killed about 4,000 people, while the AIDS epidemic, which has an acute phase, for example, killed in excess of 36 million. But even Dr. Chan did not go so far as to blame the epidemic on the Republican Party in the United States. Yes, the budgets for America's Centers for Disease Control and the National Institutes of Health have been cut over the past 4 years, but a big part of that results from the automatic across-the-board spending cuts known as sequestration, an idea proposed by the Obama White House, passed into law by both the Republican House and Democratic Senate, and signed by the President. What's more, the CDC's budget for treating emerging infectious diseases has actually increased steadily since 2010. With only one person having contracted Ebola while inside the U.S., most Americans probably sense they're not likely to catch the disease. But the government's repeated assurances that it wouldn't come here, and that if it did, it would not spread, and that health workers were protected by their hazmat suits, all turned out to be wrong. So alarm over Ebola is understandably spreading. More money probably won't stop that, but a little more candor would be a start. Bret?
Well, speaking of candor, we've asked the Homeland Security Secretary, putting questions to the CDC about why these flights would not be stopped.
You mean the flights of people coming from the affected region?
Liberia and the other countries affected.
Right.
And, you know, the candor there has not been.
Well, the explanations that they've given, such as the idea that we don't want to prevent people from taking help into those countries, really don't make any sense, because you could do that by charter, you could do it by military air, you could do that in any number of ways without permitting people who may be infected from coming here. And I think there's a reason why they won't do that. But it's not the one they're giving us. I'm very eager to know what it is. And, of course, you run into the same issue with the idea of taking people's temperatures. Well, if you don't have symptoms when you first catch the disease, you can get in here with it, pass the temperature test, and the next thing you know, you're wandering around America, possibly infecting people with Ebola. So the administration's explanations and its measures so far don't seem to be making a lot of sense. As I say, a little candor would help.
Okay, Bret, thank you.